is WMNF Tampa 88.5 FM, Community Conscious Radio.
The opinions presented on the Healthy Steps show are the evidence-based opinions of Dr. Fred Harvey, the callers, and his guests. These are not the opinions of the staff, the volunteers, or the board of WMNF. The information provided on the show is not intended to diagnose or treat any disease. There is no implied patient-physician relationship in these calls. The nature of the calls is educational and informational only.
Hello there, my dear listeners. Ooh, it is so good to be back with you on this gift of a Monday morning. I cannot thank you enough for keeping your radio dial tuned to WMNF Tampa, your resistance radio station from Tampa Bay to the Gulf of Mexico, and the only righteous little radio station that they stream in Agloe, New York. And you can stream us as well at WMNF.org. Today's show is again dedicated to you, so you know what to do. But in the off case that it has slipped your busy mind, let me illuminate the path. If you have any medical questions or concerns, just give us a little jingle at 813-239-9663. Maddie has dedicated her morning to taking your call. So that number again to call is 813-239-9663. You can also send an email to dj@wmnf.org or text us at 813-433-0885. Well, Dr. Fred, I am always excited about the universe of possibilities that AMA always presents, and your listeners have not tuned in to hear me prattle on. So let me step aside and set you loose. What is the skinny today, Dr. Harvey? Not hearing you there, Doc.
I guess I should unmute. That would help, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you there. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here, and happy Monday, and thank you for that intro.
Always my pleasure.
So, wow, autumn is here, isn't it? The weather's amazing, and it just feels great to be out walking. Who was walking this morning? I hope everyone taking some healthy steps, if you got a chance to, unless you had to get to work way too early. But yeah, this is the kind of weather you can take a nice long walk in without getting too overwhelmed by Florida's humidity. But yeah, it's getting hot here in Florida. Not weather-wise, but interesting alternative-wise. I just read a report or an article about a big rational healthcare event that happened in Venice last month. It's called Freedom Health Connect. They are free actually to find out ways of not being healthy. They offer some really interesting things at this Connect. It was the big 3 C's conference, apparently. And the 3 C's are something about cancer and connection. I'm not sure what they're really offering, but they have a global directory of stuff that talks about all kinds of things. Yeah, they're founded by a guy who was a January 6th protester, who has a lot of interesting ideas.
You said the next 6 months for the country are really crucial. What do you mean by that?
Oh.
Amped up riots in the streets?
Sorry about that. So this guy thinks that we're going to martial law, but he's also promoting weird health stuff. So they had a bunch of people talking at this weird health forum, including the current Surgeon General of Florida. The very interesting topic was that these medical freedoms are about courage, censorship, and cancer. Like these people believe they're being censored, and the people that we're talking about, how mRNA is a bad thing. And we've been using mRNA in different ways for years. Like there's mRNA genetic therapy that they use to help people who are missing certain genes that fight cancer, to put that gene back into the cells and make the protein that helps to fight the cancers. And so there's a lot of evidence for many years that using these things is very helpful, but they aren't really vaccines. And we really shouldn't call them vaccines, because vaccines are a completely different thing, but they really are an effective genetic intervention. And so the chief doctor that was speaking there was Joseph Ladapo, the Surgeon General, who wants to ban the mRNA vaccines in Florida, or mRNA genetic therapies in Florida, which makes no sense because there's so many uses beyond COVID. It just got its reputation during COVID. And then there's another doctor, William Makis, who's a COVID conspiracist and lost his medical license in 2019. He's treating cancer patients with ivermectin, which really it's not got good data for actually treating cancer. But there is some stuff on the internet that says that it may impact people with cancer. The big thing that they're talking about is these things called turbo cancers. Turbo cancers. It's a real scary kind of concept. But the thing is, turbo cancers don't really exist in our medical world. I mean, they're just, there's not, it's not a recognized term, but there do seem to be more young people getting cancers, and there seem to be very aggressive cancers. But this is due to the general toxicity in our population, the general level of inflammation. Think about it. If over 50% of America is overweight, like 70% is overweight and over 50% is obese, right there is a cause for concern, because these people are at risk for worse outcomes with COVID, flu, and all kinds of other things. They talk about how these COVID mRNA genetic therapies actually are causing cancer, but no, they don't. There's no evidence anywhere, and there's vast amounts of data that show there's no actual increased trend in people that took the shots. And some of the problem is people that avoid medicine and doctors, because they're afraid of them, don't get diagnosed until late, so they look like they're more aggressive. Cancers in young people often have late diagnosis because they don't expect young people to get cancer. And there was an actual increase in certain cancer diagnosis as early as 2000. So this suggests that it has nothing to do with COVID mRNA shots, and that there's some evidence that if you get, a hepatitis B vaccine, you have less chance of getting liver cancer. If you have a HPV vaccine, you have less chance of getting cervical cancer. So there's some really good evidence that vaccines can be really helpful in health prevention, or illness prevention and health promotion. But so this whole event, this conference happened down in Venice. Like, the west coast of Florida is a hot spot for very interesting issues. They talked about chemtrails there too, and other very interesting things that have very little impact on what we're talking about as human health. And so, yeah. It's concerning to me that we have multimillionaires financing bizarro conferences that are totally unrelated to real thinking on real healthcare, and making up all this stuff that is really just not true, and distracts people from what's real. There's been a guy on here asking questions on a regular basis about how the Amish have less autism. They don't. They just don't go to the doctor, so it's less diagnosed. And they have the same illnesses as everybody else. They might have a little less of this or that, but basically they're humans. We're all humans. They have different diet and different exercise and things like that, so they get slightly different, but they also have a lot of similar genes, so they all have a lot of similar medical issues. But the Mennonite community in West Texas that avoided the measles vaccines ended up having a measles outbreak. They're the source of it. So avoiding things you're afraid of because you're afraid of them is not a really good approach to life. It's not a really good approach to human health or illness prevention. And so, and one of the arguments people have is I don't live in fear of getting an illness. Well, yeah, you may not, but the people down the street that don't want to get it and get it because you're not involved in preventing it, that's kind of selfish. But there's a lot of different ways to look at it as far as overall health impact. I think we'd make more impact on surviving illnesses like influenza and COVID if we just took care of human health instead of constantly trying to treat illness. And we promote health as our focus rather than treating illness. Functional medicine lifts function and illness runs away because illness is all about bad function. So let's talk about function. Let's talk about health. Let's stop chasing details on illness and line item supplements one at a time that are supposedly the panacea. Let's focus on general good health and take healthy steps every day. Who wants to talk about some healthy steps? This is Dr. Fred Harvey, and we're talking here on the Healthy Steps Show.
Indeed we are, and we've got Gary back. Haven't talked to him in a while. But I want to remind folks that this is the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa. And we are inviting you to give us a call, ask your medical questions or concerns by just dialing 813-239-9663. Again, that number is 813-239-9663. You can also continue to send your emails to dj@wmnf.org. Well, good morning to you there, Gary. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Gary. Have we lost you?
I'll come on back to him.
Okay.
It's quiet now. Michael has dropped off.
Okay. All right. So, the ideas that all of Western medicine is responsible for all of our problems is a little crazy, but that tends to be sort of the approach that many of these alternative people are taking. Attack everything Western medicine, do nothing Western medicine, and do everything alternative. The problem is that, Western medicine has some really good treatments for some really serious illness. It's just that we can't rely on Western medicine as a chronic illness therapy place because Western medicine is designed to take care of acute illness. They save you from your heart attack, your stroke, your a cancer that's wrapping itself around some organ that you need. We have very aggressive, very effective treatment for acute illness. And acute illness needs that kind of approach because acute illness is trying to kill you right now. Chronic illness is different. Chronic illness degrades your body over time. Chronic illness like cardiovascular disease, obesity, diabetes, all these things, autoimmune diseases, they slowly eat away at your body, slowly decreasing function. And as the function goes away, dysfunction is the rule, and dysfunction results in damage to organs and disease. And so if we go upstream and look at the foundations, we can make the most impact. And that's what I talk about here all the time. We go to really simple foundations: movement, food, water, sleep, mindfulness, exercise, relationships, and your purpose. These things all fuel wellness and well-being. When we ignore any of those areas, we end up with a dysfunction in one of those areas or more, because when one area dysfunctions, they communicate with other areas. And so you can end up with multiple systems having problems. For instance, if your immune system gets challenged, the immune system puts out chemicals, the chemicals of communication, of inflammation. And these chemicals are often ones that are blocked in autoimmune disease treatment. But these chemicals tell your body to do different things, and it can tell your immune system to be more irritated. It can tell your nervous system to be more irritated. It can tell your endocrine system to be more irritated. So you might, from having a challenge of your immune system, have trouble with mood, trouble with energy, trouble with overall function. And so when we address things upstream, we can make big impacts. And so rather than taking a line item of berberine, for instance, to, quotes, treat your diabetes, why not figure out why it is that the body is not metabolizing sugar well, and then enhance its ability to metabolize sugar? Supposedly berberine can do that, but we're looking at not cause there, but symptom, and treating symptom with an herb rather than treating symptom with a medication from the pharmaceutical company. There's no difference. We're not treating source. We're treating symptom. I think Gary's back on the phone.
Yes, I guess he is. Hey there, Gary. Were you ghosting me?
Yeah. Hello?
Gotcha.
Hello, Gary. How are you?
Fine. Good. How are you guys?
Excellent.
You know what? I'm a real healthy eater. And this morning I was making oatmeal and blueberries and walnuts in there and a piece of toast. I didn't have any butter and jelly. Well, I never use butter. What can I use in my toast to make it healthy and taste good?
Well, there's all kinds of things you can put on toast. I had some organic natural cherry preserve on my oat bread this morning, and I also had some almond butter.
Yeah, some cherry butter. Sounds real tasty. Where'd you get that at? Where'd you get that at?
I can't tell you which store, but it's a, I believe it's a Greek product and a little, or maybe I think it's Croatian. And when you get stuff from Europe, they definitely have a different kind of taste than stuff from America. I've noticed there's a lot less sugar in this one. There's very little, in fact. I think in a tablespoon, there's less than a teaspoon of sugar, only a gram or two. It's mostly just really good cherry flavor. And so look for maybe imported European jams, because they care for the fruits in a different way, honestly. They're not as mass produced. And then the almond butter, I just got organic, roasted, salted almonds. I don't like to have any other additives in my almond butter, but I do like them roasted, because roasted almonds to me taste better than raw almonds.
Oh, thank you. That sounds good. I'm going to go out this morning and search for some cherry preserves. Sounds tasty. Okay, bye.
Wonderful. See ya. Oh, and some other things you can put on toast that, if you're eating toast, are hummus. You can have hummus in the morning. How about avocado toast? And then you can throw an egg on top of it. How about, I already mentioned almond butter, peanut butter is fine. My partner likes to throw a little hummus and za'atar on it. Za'atar is a Lebanese spice mix that has some sumac and oregano and sesame in it. It's very tasty. So there's a lot of ways you can kick up a piece of toast and not have to use just plain butter or something like that.
Yeah. Why you getting me hungry again?
I'm a foodie. I love to think of all kinds of good ways to eat more food because I like to eat food. I'm not a smoothie guy. I did that back when my kids were young and kind of got over it. I like to chew my food. And that way get the flavor out of each food and actually be more mindful about your eating.
You got it. Okay, thank you, Doc.
You're so welcome, Gary. Have a wonderful week. Glad you called.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Your partner would have killed me with that breakfast. I'm allergic to sesame, so between the hummus and the Zumar...
Oh, no.
I'm not coming over for breakfast.
No, not a good idea.
To you folks out there who are just tuning on in, you are listening to the Healthy Steps radio show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa. And we're inviting you to give us a call. Dial 813-239-9663 and address your medical questions and concerns. Again, that number is 813-239-9663. And continue to send your emails to dj@wmnf.org. The phone line is dark right now, so come on, be the first one. Back to you, Doc.
Yeah, I have an email here. I think it's an interesting question. And it's kind of like I hear a lot of people do these straw man arguments in politics where you talk about one thing and then change the subject to a different one. I wonder how many people, this is the question. I wonder how many people who denounce vaccines and take recreational drugs for fun. I don't see there's any connection there. Yet I don't know anybody that takes vaccines for fun, nor do I know anybody that just denounces vaccines for fun. And most of the people I know of that are using the clients that I've had that have used drugs recreationally have done it to self-medicate. Not just for fun, but because they're in pain and pain emotionally, etc. And so, when you think this way, just to denigrate the other, because, saying that someone takes recreational drugs, it puts them in a category for some people to denigrate. And so if they're denouncing vaccines and taking drugs, you can denigrate them. It's another way of othering. It's kind of what, that Orange Menace does to anyone he doesn't like. He others them and then has his base hate them. Well, we can't play that game if we want to actually get beyond our current situation of divisive discussion. And so I think we need to be clear about what we're asking. I would say, I wonder how many people who denounce vaccines actually take the healthy steps they need to prevent a problematic viral illness. And there's some things you can do to prevent it, but that's a better question. I mean, rather than this other denigratory line of attack. So save that for, watching Marvel movies where they do those kinds of things. But let's keep it real here, folks.
Yes.
I think we have a caller.
We do. I've got Anthony and Paula, and I like that, but I'm not satisfied. I'd like more callers to fill this queue. So again, you're listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey. You're invited to call and participate and address your medical questions and concerns by calling 813-239-9663 and continue to send your emails to dj@wmnf.org. One more time, that number to call is 813-239-9663. Good morning, Anthony.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
How are you?
I'm great. I love your radio program, both of you. I just think you're so well articulated. And if your listeners just listen, they can learn a lot. And I have.
Thank you. Listening is a skill. It's a learned skill.
That's right. It's one of my best tools Now, I can call you back in 20 minutes with another issue that I'm having, but I'll start with this one. I'm 57 years old, 275 pounds, and I just got a prescription, and I'm now taking a semaglutide, sublingual.
Sublingual, huh? Okay.
Yeah, my question is I can't seem to have anybody tell me how it works. So understanding how something like that works is, I would say, half the battle. And I put it under my tongue in the morning, and that's it. I would like to see if you knew how it works.
Well, have you read your package insert yet?
Well, no. I mean, I haven't read anything about it besides it's supposed to make me stop craving sugar.
All right. So what doctor prescribed this for you?
My primary.
So your primary has a job. It's called practicing medicine. One of the pieces of that job is when adding a medication, the benefits and risks are described, and usually at that point a possibility is available for asking questions about the medication and how it works.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's a wonderful person, but he gets caught up in trying to take care of everything so quickly. So I agree with you. So I'll refer back to him on the answer for that.
But I will give you some help, though. So I think it's worth it for you to go and look at your package insert, but also knowing that GLP-1 medications, so GLP, glucagon-like peptide, type 1 receptor is a place where the body listens to signals from a peptide that the body makes. These medications are peptides that look like the one the body makes. And so the GLP-1 medications act on these receptors in the brain and the gut to increase insulin production so you can bring down the sugar. It reduces glucagon, which is the chemical that gets released to break down into sugar when you need more sugar. So it raises blood sugar. It regulates your appetite. It slows stomach emptying. And so it actually helps with management of sugar, weight loss, and sugar metabolism. So yeah, that's the way it works.
Okay, so it increases insulin. That's a good thing.
Increases insulin. It also decreases the excretion or secretion of glucagon. It slows stomach emptying, and it reduces your cravings.
Okay, so I like that. Okay, well, your show is fantastic, and we appreciate you out here.
Thank you. Glad to help. Call again, please.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, Anthony, let us know how that works for you over time, because I haven't used any of the sublingual yet. That is an FDA-approved medication. They also compound it, but now it's available sublingual instead of just injecting. So interesting, and let's see how it works.
Yeah, I tried the injections for about 2 months. I could, A, no longer afford them, and B, was only using a 2.5. With my weight, I think I need to have a larger dosage, so I definitely could not afford that. So with the semaglutide, they started me at 3 milligrams, and I think the trick there is I got to bump up quite a bit for this to be more effective because of 275 pounds. But yeah, I'll call you back in 4 or 6 weeks and let you know how it's going.
Cool. How often are they having you use it sublingually?
Every day.
Okay, that's what I thought. Good. All right. Yeah, let us know sometime. I hope you get some good success with that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you, Anthony. Appreciate it a lot. Let's go to Paula. Good morning, Paula.
Good morning, Dr. Harvey.
Hi there.
I have a question. My DEXA scan came back pretty bad. It's worse than what was several years ago. And I've increased now my amount of protein I'm taking a day. at least 83 grams.
Good.
And my integrative doctor suggested also that I use a whole body vibration platform.
Huh? Yes.
Does, from your understanding, does that help?
Absolutely. There's actually a whole business built around that. I think it's called OsteoStrong or something like that, where you actually only go once or twice a week to exercise on vibration plates.
Huh. Well, I did.
Highly effective.
The one she did suggest is the BC Vibrant Health platform, and it's comprehensive, but I've been using it. Is it safe for me to use it every day?
Absolutely.
Okay. But I was really upset that, I'm trying to do all the right things, but one score came back better, but the other two did not. And it was my left femoral neck came back worse than it was several years ago, and my left hip. But my spine...
So there's some things you can look at to see what's going on. There's a blood test called PINP, pro-collagen peptide. And there's a urine test called NTX, N-telopeptide. And there's also another version, C-telopeptide, CTX. Those will tell you how your bone metabolism is going. If you have increased bone loss on CTX or NTX, and not a lot of collagen production on the PINP, you need to do better there. Orthosilicic acid, a supplement called BioSil, is shown to increase collagen production. Exercises, especially exercise where you torque your bones, like in the vibration plate, and then making sure that your hormones are stabilized. And also something that many people don't think about is that inflammatory illness causes bone loss. And so if you have any kind of inflammatory illness that's not adequately treated, that could be contributing to the problem.
I have a problem with my thyroid. I have Hashimoto's.
Yes.
And I think I have it under control, but to my understanding that sometimes my prescription may cause bone loss.
Only if it is in an inappropriate amount. If you're hyperthyroid and you're on too much thyroid, you'll lose bone. But more importantly, the Hashimoto's is inflammatory, and you can check to see if you have systemic inflammation by looking at things like a C-reactive protein test or a erythrocyte sedimentation rate. These can tell us if you have generalized inflammation. If you do, then that needs to be explored and dealt with.
I see. And I do have one more question. Could a fall, because I did fall on my left hip pretty bad, this is many years ago, could that result in the weakening of my bone?
No, not really.
No, not really? Okay. All right, so I'll look into your suggestions, and I'll talk with my integrated doctor about this. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. I bet your integrated doctor already has you on some magnesium along with the calcium. If not, you might want to add that too. I'm
taking magnesium glycinate.
Oh, good. Excellent. All right.
Okay.
So you're already going the right direction.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You're welcome. You too.
Yes, I've got Cindy, who's been already waiting patiently, and I hope I don't tax her too much. But I'm going to invite more people to join this queue. You are listening to the Healthy Steps radio show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa. And just give us a call and express your medical questions and concerns by dialing 813-239-9663. We've got Maddie answering the calls, so one more time, that number is 813-239-9663. And you can continue to send your emails to dj@wmnf.org. Good morning there, Cindy.
Good morning.
Hi, Cindy.
I wanted to talk about two subjects, constipation and moringa. So first, I went to my GI doctor for constipation, and he did this weird test and told me I had weak rectal muscles. And then he referred me to a physical therapist. So the physical therapist gave me some she did a test with a sonogram to see how my the abdominal wall is, to see the strength of the abdominal wall. And then she gave me some exercises to strengthen the abdominal wall and strengthen my core, and also some stretches that I'm assuming is to massage the internal organs. But one thing, I was taking Miralax every day. And she said, oh, no, don't do that because that messes with your microbiome. And I hadn't even thought of that because it pulls fluid into your intestines. And my GI doctor didn't mention that. I asked him, is it safe if I take Miralax every day? And he said, oh, yeah, I have some patients that take it 3 times a day. But my biggest problem was I wasn't drinking enough water. So she told me to drink 64 ounces of water a day.
Oh, really? What were you drinking?
Well, she had me keep a food record, and I was.
How much were you drinking?
Less. Maybe 24 to 32.
Wow, yeah. So, yeah, you double it, and what happened?
It helped. It helped a lot. So that and the exercises helped a lot.
And how much soluble fiber do you get per day?
Well, I take a tablespoon. Sorry, I'm outside. A tablespoon of chia seeds and hemp seed in a smoothie every day.
And how many cups of vegetables do you do a day?
Yeah, see, a lot. Yeah,
good.
At least 4 cups a day.
Excellent, excellent. So it's the water that was the big problem, huh?
Yeah, but the thing was, my GI doctor didn't tell me any bad effects from the Miralax.
Well, most Western physicians don't think about the adverse consequences of the medications. They're more concerned with you getting a result from the medication. And the adverse consequences are kind of ignored because they want the result of the medication.
Yeah, and it did give me the results that I wanted.
Yeah.
It definitely.
So you got your symptom control without actually addressing the cause.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why the physical therapist was awesome, because she looked at everything holistically.
That's excellent. You got a good physical therapist there.
I know. I have to write her a good Google review. She was wonderful.
And the fact that your GI doctor sent you to a physical therapist means you have a good GI doctor, even if he didn't tell you about drinking more water.
Yeah. Yeah, but keeping the record really made me aware of it. I actually started drinking more. It's hard to drink 64 ounces a day. It's such a part-time job.
So what was the other question you had?
Well, you said you don't like smoothies. I'm not too crazy about them myself, but I try to drink one every day because that's the only way I could. I have moringa, powdered moringa that I made from my trees. And that's the only way I could get it down, because it doesn't taste very good. So I put 2 tablespoons in my smoothie. So do you know how else I could take that?
I guess you could use the fresh leaves and throw them in a salad. You could throw them into soup or something like that. And you could use the dried powder in things that you cook.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. It tastes so bad.
Okay, so maybe you could find something other than moringa to eat. If you don't like the flavor of it, find a different food. Why eat something you don't like?
Oh, because it's got a lot of health benefits.
There's lots of other things that have health benefits that taste good.
It's a superfood.
Great.
So they say.
And so you hate it. Are you gonna live the rest of your life on a superfood you hate, or find a superfood you like? Or how about just finding regular food that you like? I think this whole fad about superfoods is kind of silly.
No, but food is grow it in Asia on plantations.
All right, but you're not Asian, are you?
I might have some Asian genes in there. No.
We all do. But I mean, like, does it matter? If you hate the food, why are you torturing yourself with it?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's the question. Be mindful of your food. If you put it on your tongue and you go yuck, then forget it. Find something you like that has good health benefits. Okay?
Okay, you're
Thanks,
right.
Cindy.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
And best wishes to you there, Cindy. Appreciate it. Let's go to Bill in Lake Wales, and we're down to about the last 15 minutes. So I'm going to remind folks, this is the Healthy Steps Radio Show, and we want you to jump in and take those moments. Just give us a call and express your medical questions and concerns by dialing 813-239-9663. Good morning to you, Bill. What's going on?
I one of the doctors that used to be on during pledge drives talking about nutrition and health years ago on WEDU recommended not eating off of silverware instead eating with using stainless steel flatware.
Okay.
Yeah, is that healthier?
Silver is actually a very good anti fungal, antiviral, antibacterial for the bad stuff. I don't have a problem with eating off of silverware.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted
and
to,
if you're eating if you're eating cheap flatware from, say, I don't know, China, and there's lead or radioactive material or something in it because nobody checks it, you might actually be getting more ill from the not silver stuff.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Now, how about plastic flatware? Is that a...
avoid plastics.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'd go with bamboo flatware. There are actually many companies are coming out with that now. It's a little more expensive, but it's biodegradable.
Oh, really? Okay. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Bill.
Thank you. Bye.
And you can almost hear the ticking of the clock. We're down to the last 10 minutes, and I'd like you to participate in the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa. Just give us a call at 813-239-9663 or continue to send your emails to dj@wmnf.org. And speaking of emails, what have you got there, Doctor?
Well, Pete sent us an email asking, he's been taking magnesium oxide for a few months, and he is using it to help his body with sugar metabolism. Yes, indeed, magnesium is a pro-sugar metabolism mineral. Many other ones are, vanadium, chromium, but most people are a bit deficient in magnesium. Even when we eat vegetables, which are a great source of it, we have depleted the soil of many minerals. So it really actually makes sense probably to take a little extra. Magnesium oxide is a good supplement. It actually can be a little bit more laxative-like because the magnesium oxide binds to a bunch more water than some of the other ones like magnesium glycinate, but they're all good, and taking a little extra magnesium is often helpful. Here's one from David. Great job with the show today. I cook at home a fair amount and intentionally have avoided buying and using pans with Teflon because of concerns about PFAS. That's PFAS, the forever chemicals, polyfluorinated alkyl substances. Those are toxins. And so he does eat out at restaurants sometimes and worries about PFAS from there. Can I weigh in on the danger of PFAS at restaurants? And it would be smart, he says, to have a PFAS-free badge. However, it would be next to impossible to have a PFAS-free badge because we are polluted. I mean, there's not a food substance you can eat today that doesn't have PFAS in it, I believe. These chemicals are everywhere because we allow industry to poison us. It's that simple. Unless it's regulated, it's in there. And even if it's regulated, It's in there because you can find glyphosate Roundup in organic wine from California because the runoff goes into the water table and then those plants take it up from the irrigation. So unless you're getting dry wine, and there is actually, what's it called, dry field or something like that, they don't irrigate. And so they're actually really healthier vines. Essentially, they're really tough. But Teflon is an issue, but there are some of these non-stick wares that are actually fairly safe, especially if you don't use any if they aren't scratched or broken. I think we do have some callers again.
Oh, they lit up the board in the last about 10 minutes. I've got Red. How's it going there, Red in Tampa?
Good, sir. How you doing?
Excellent. How are you today?
Good. Question. I got foot planitis, if I'm pronouncing that right. Okay. And
Plantar
exercising.
Plantar fasciitis, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was doing my exercises and everything, and it never calmed down. I had it before, and the exercise kind of took it away. And so it's been like over a month now, and I got a cortisone shot in it. And that still ain't helping none. Is something else could be going on there?
Yeah. Are you wearing shoes with good supports?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. The problem on your foot is probably coming from your posture. The fact that it's not got better with therapy probably suggests that you're leaning on that foot too much, possibly even leaning forward on that foot. I think seeing a physical therapist or a kinesiologist or a muscle activation technique therapist to work on the function of your low back legs so that you can actually take the pressure off that foot would probably help.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And best wishes to you with that. I know it's very frustrating. Let's go to Victoria in Gulfport. Good morning to you, Victoria.
Hi. Beautiful day today.
It is.
I have eczema on my hands from mostly from soap and hand sanitizer, which I try not to use. I've been told by the dermatologist to use Dove. I also have used betamethasone dipropionate, and more recently something called Ztama, which is tapinarof. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. But I just went on vacation, and unfortunately I had to use soap a couple times on my road trip, and it got so bad, the creases of my knuckles, the index finger was probably a quarter of an inch to 3/8 of an inch crack. Very painful. Also on the other fingers. I'm wondering if there's something I'm eating that might be contributing to that as well.
Yeah, could be. I wonder if it's something you're not eating. Are you getting enough fish oil? Eczema often shows up, but are you getting enough? So eczema shows up when your omega levels are too low, and it might be a good idea to get an omega index check. Quest Labs does an omega index, and if you're under 5%, you definitely need to get more fish oil.
Okay, I take 1,000 milligrams EPA and DHA omega-3 every day.
That's great, but it may be less than your body needs. Another thing to consider is, yes, wheat and pasteurized dairy may trigger eczema.
Don't do dairy.
Good.
Sourdough bread when I eat bread, but
don't do that very often, huh?
A lot of other. Not too often. I usually have a slice a day, something like that.
Another thing to consider is keep a little bottle of hypoallergenic soap in your purse so that you don't have to use other people's fragranced nastiness, and never touch hand sanitizer, as its purpose is to dry your hands out and cause eczema.
Okay. Well, I've pretty much eliminated that.
Good.
So is there a particular soap what did you call it now?
A hypoallergenic soap. You can ask the dermatologist if they can recommend something other than Dove, because you're not going to carry a Dove around with you. Plus, Dove has fragrance in it. In the bottles, the liquid Dove isn't as friendly. So even like Johnson's baby shampoo is kind of a possibility. But I would look around online for what is available. Maybe even just look at your local health food store and see what really simple, clean, non-petrochemical, organic soaps are available.
Do you think, as I started wearing gloves to wash the dishes, because I use a natural dish soap, but it seems to not work for me very well. Do you think?
Well, they all desiccate. So anytime you get your hands in hot water and soap, you're going to desiccate your hands because it's going to strip the oils off. So yeah, gloves are a great idea.
Okay. But you don't think latex would be causing that?
Latex can cause that, so get some silicone gloves.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks for your help.
You're welcome. Hope you have some success. Let us know.
I will. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, and best wishes to you there. Let's go to Steve in Tampa. Good morning, Steve.
Works for me very well. Do you think?
Well, they all desiccate. So anytime you get your hands in...
Steve, could you turn your radio off?
The oils off. But yeah, gloves are a great idea.
Let's go to Sandra. Good morning to you, Sandra.
I'm here. Yes.
Hello, Sandra. Are you present?
I'm on the phone. Can you hear me?
There you are. Yes. How are you today?
Fine, thank you. I'd like to know your opinion on the value of copper vessels for drinking water.
That's an interesting thing. Copper vessels may actually add some ions to your water, and it has some antibacterial activity. One of my friends, actually the former host of the show, always had a copper cup next to her mineral water. She drank it out of copper at least once a day. So yes, I think there is possibly some benefit. There's not a lot of studies out there, but it's been used for thousands of years. I wouldn't buy into all of the hype on weight loss and aging things and all that. But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with using a non-disposable copper container to drink out of.
Okay, and sometimes even to buy whatever bottled water we buy, if we buy bottled water, to use in place of like city water, which has tons of chlorine-type products in it, transfer the bottled water into the copper vessel, and that actually is beneficial?
It is, but I would suggest that you invest in a filter so you don't have to do that. And I've got to run because I just realized we're at 10:58. I wish you good luck with that today, and I think we're going to switch over to emails.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you, too. Here's one. Just tuned in. I was wondering about your thoughts on IV therapy, hydration, vitamin C, etc. While in the hospital after major surgery, I was amazed at how my hands looked and the hydration IV. Actually, I think that hydration can be very useful for people that are dehydrated, but I think the best way to hydrate is drinking water. And you might want to get some concentrates or trace light or one of those drops of minerals and put a couple drops in it after you've filtered the water, because you don't want the chlorine in it. You don't want the rest of the stuff that might be coming into your water between the processing plant and your house in all those old pipes. Because remember, it's the old pipes that got the people sick in Flint, Michigan, because the lead leached out of the old pipes. So get a water filter at home. And I have done hydration IVs for years. I love them, but I've stopped doing it because I find that I get people better without having to do that, because it's really easy to do things by mouth in general. I want to thank everybody for the participation today. It was wonderful. Great engagement. Thank you, Bill, for hosting at the radio station. And is it Joe today getting phones or Maddie?
Joe sort of cranked it on off, so he deserves thanks. And it's also his birthday, so happy birthday to Joe. And Maddie took us all the way on through, so thank you to her.
Yes, thanks very much. Have a great week and see you next week, folks.
All right, and thank you, Doctor, for a fantastic show. And to all of our listeners and participants, you make this show great. Everyone, stay healthy. And as I said, thank you, Maddie and Joe, for pushing this on through and making it a success. You have been listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa. Coming on up next is 5 minutes of NPR News, followed by the Sustainable Living Show, hosted today by Annie Ellis. So until next Monday at 10 a.m., thank you for supporting and listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa, your community conscious radio station. Stay safe, stay thoughtful, and know that you are loved.